And by the way, we haven't had time to cover them, but I've been noticing you're not able to go now a day or two without a terrorist attack inside of Saudi Arabia. It's becoming increasingly common.
Oh,
They
really?
blew up a mosque, killed like 28 people.
Really?
An ISIS fighter dressed as a woman just did a suicide attack yesterday in Saudi Arabia.
Okay,
that wall they're building, not effective.
Yeah.
So what? Go ahead, Jack.
I'm not even kidding, but never. I mean, this is the oldest rule in Young Turks history. Never take financial advice from me. Okay, now having said that, I'm literally going to try to find a way to go long on oil, right? Meaning, bet that oil prices go up.
Oh,
okay, with a whole $20 to $30. Okay, I don't know what I'm betting with, but anyway, because ISIS is inside Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
The wall is just going to keep them in now, not keep them out. The wall is way too late. The virus is already inside Saudi Arabia. And when Saudi Arabia starts having significant, massive problems within their borders with ISIS, oh, the oil markets.
I'm curious, and I'm sure I'm simplifying this because I don't really know, because the ISIS is being funded in large part by some Saudi princes, by rich people in Saudi Arabia, not the head of the royal family.
Right, not the government.
Not the government, but they're all they're related in many. But anyway, by rich. So, at what point do those guys think, oh, we've made a? Well, what point do they are they like Cersei?
Well, I was just gonna say
Cersei, and they're like, oh, I've made a horrible, horrible deal. I'm in bed with the wrong people.
ISIS will strip away the finery.
Over under is 16 months.
16 months. Okay, so
So-
fall of 2000 election.
Yeah.
Well, so Johnny, you're saying that ISIS is doing terrorist attacks inside Saudi Arabia? Well, if they're
Increasingly commonly.
being, what do they want from Saudi Arabia?
They want to take out the Saudi Arabian government.
They want to overthrow their government?
Yeah, we see the Saudi Arabian government as being incredibly Islamic and extremist,
Yeah.
and in many ways they are, but in comparison to ISIS, they're not at all. And that's the same
of
sort of
course-
argument that that's Osama bin Laden was making in the 80s.
And that strongly Islamic government though is been in bed with us for 50 years.
Yes.
By the way, real quick, just a nonsense
regime
movie
change.
that is really excellent. The Kingdom. You seen The Kingdom?
No.
Yeah.
The Kingdom's good.
Clooney?
No.
No, it had
Mrs.
Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, it had Jamie Foxx in it. Kelly O'Coin is in The Kingdom.
So why would they be funding?
Jennifer Garner is in The Kingdom, I think.
Why would they be funding ISIS if ISIS is doing terrorist attacks inside their own?
Okay, so let me explain. So this adds one layer of complexity that we have not yet touched. Okay, so first of all, they started out thinking that ISIS is going to take down the largely Shia-backed government of Assad in Syria. Okay, so they wanted to build up ISIS against the Shias because they hate the Shias. I mean, you think like they have warm and cuddly feelings towards the Jews compared to what they think of the Shias. Okay, so Iran is Shia, Assad is from a minority sect aligned with the Shias, loosely considered Shia. Okay, so he's not Sunni, he's on the opposite side. Okay, so so they want to take down Assad, and they go, okay, let's fund these ISIS fuckers. They're on our side. Oh, they're radical Muslims. So what? We're radical Muslims. They're on our side, right? So, oh, America doesn't like radical Muslims. Who cares, right? So this is the game they've been playing for 30, 40 years, right? The Saudis have. Oh, we give you cheap oil. Every once in a while we bomb you just as a fuck you. Like, you think you control us? Okay, take this, right? So again, as Ben pointed out, it's not necessarily the government, but there's a ton of rich people that are Saudi princes, yada, yada, some factions of them. I mean, it is a lot like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So now, to bring it back to Cersei and the layer we haven't discussed yet, they're bombing largely Shia places inside Saudi Arabia.
Oh.
Okay, so the Cersei Lannisters of the Saudi kingdom think like, oh, good, we pay them. They bomb the Shia who we hate, drive them out of the country. And one day they're going to wake up and find them inside their house and go, what is this?
Right, because you're still wealthy Saudi princes.
Yeah.
But it's the same. I mean, it's not totally dissimilar from how the Saudis, how 15 of the 19 hijackers were Saudi, and the funding came from the Saudis, and Osama bin Laden was Saudi. These are the same. I presume, many of the same people who funded Osama bin Laden for years are now funding ISIS.
Okay.
One significant difference that might play into how we deal with it and how the government, the members of the government of Saudi Arabia that might currently be supporting ISIS might have to deal with it is that in the case of the Game of Thrones, they're true believers. Whereas many of the foot soldiers of ISIS are true believers, it does not seem at all like their leadership are. Baghdadi loves money, he loves wealth. Most of the upper leadership is former Baathists from Iraq. Like they've sort of co-opted that religious zealotry that is current, that the actual fighters and those doing the bombings and those doing the beheadings are doing. But I don't think that they are led by like a head sparrow necessarily.
Right, and very quick to, and not to, we've already belabored the Game of Thrones thing, but I mean, some of those guys, like in Game of Thrones, they remind me of ISIS because, yeah, they're cutting the things into their head, but they just want to be part of a group that's in power and gets to rough people up and kill people. I mean, if that group believes something else, they'd still sign up for it because they want to be in that.
Tattoo themselves.
So what happened to the secular Baathists? Where are they? So if ISIS is radical Muslim, and I thought ISIS was started by ex-Baathists, right, because we kicked them out, and so they didn't have anywhere to go, and so they formed ISIS. So are they still in ISIS? They're secular and, I mean...
So one school of thought that John is alluding to is that those secular Baathists are the heads of ISIS.
Yes.
Who are just using this as a prop to get back into power. So they're like, foot soldiers, yeah, the faith, Islam,
Right.
Quran, Al-Quran, blah, blah, blah. They go home back home, vodka, Rolex, where's my rolls? You know, I don't know how much I believe that. I think that's, I'm open on that. I've seen both sides of that, so I don't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and it might be, again, to Ben's point, like the Saudis, ISIS leadership might also be diversified. Some might be true believers and some might be old Baathists who don't give a shit and they're just using it for power.
Yeah.
It is, I just saw Frontline's hour-long special on Obama at war on Syria. And it's great. It's available online. There are some scenes in there which I'll remember all my life that I still woke me up at night. And I can't remember a better example of finishing a complicated 54-minute piece of journalism and thinking, thinking simultaneously, my God, Obama has really screwed up Syria, and then thinking this may have been Obama's greatest stroke of genius.